Good afternoon. Welcome to episode 27 of the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Wright, coming to you from the cloudy, humid, and rainy confines of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Wherever you may be watching or listening, I thank you as always. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. In this episode today, we're going to get into game one of the Eastern Conference Finals and that beautiful, beautiful game between the Indiana Pacers and the Boston Celtics. I must admit, I kind of called this one when I thought it was going to be tight. You know Indiana had some days where they played a game 7, didn't really have a day off, kind of went right into game 1, and but a lot of people don't really realize for the team that wins game 7, there's really no real incentive outside of winning because literally you may have a day or less than a day before you got to play that next game. So for Indiana to start out sluggish, which we expected, you expected them to start sluggish, but by the end of that first quarter, damn, they had it going. You could just tell they were starting to get their legs under them. They were starting to get fluid. I want to give the Pacers a whole fucking load of credit. All 5 starters were in double figures. Though they look sluggish, I stated this early on when I was talking about the onset of this series, Porzingis being out. Now, there was a rumor that he was out until game 2. We now know for a fact he's out until game 4. Looking at the stat line of Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam, the Celtics are in fucking trouble. Yeah, the Celtics are in fucking trouble. What do I mean? The fact that Siakam and Turner played great is just one thing. But just keep this in mind. Both of them had 20 or plus more points or 10 or plus more rebounds. So that's 20 or more points, 10 or more rebounds. And you had Miles Turner, he was 3 or 4 shooting threes. I don't know if you noticed or not, but without Porzingis there in that interior, they got Al Horford just roaming all over wherever the fuck they want. It ain't looking good. It ain't looking good. With Porzingis being out, this is going to be something to watch. This is not something that we can scoff at and just say, the Celtics got it. The Celtics, like I said, I picked Boston to win the series. But it would not shock me. It would not shock me because that was startling to see how easy it was for Siakam and Turner to just get into the paint and Boston not really have any answer to stop them. It was disgusting. Halliburton had a great game, 25 and 10, 6 made threes, showing up, doing what he do, still playing at a high level like he was in that last series against the Knicks. Got to definitely keep it up. The bench. Y'all been hearing me all playoffs talk about the damn bench. The bench for the Pacers prevailed again. TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin. McConnell is so funny because he's had his games throughout this postseason. Definitely that closeout game against the Knicks, he showed up. But he had 13 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds. Obi Toppin had 15 points, 2 assists, and 4 rebounds. Right there, that just those two coming off the bench providing that offensive spark and that, the passing and the little bit of defense, that is all crucial and was needed for the Pacers. Though they didn't win, you would like to continue to see performances out of them like that. You're going to need more performances out of them like that to even be able to win this series. I even like the defense that the Pacers played early in the game, especially when the defense they used on Tatum, where they were trapping him half court, forcing the ball out of his hands early. You just kind of saw that when that happened, the Celtics didn't really have a game plan for that. They were kind of it was an amalgamation where you got a wave of bodies here and an amalgamation of bodies there, and maybe Jaylen Brown gets a shot. That's going to be the key for the Pacers to win this series. Their pace has been their weapon the whole postseason. If they can keep the Celtics off balance and keep the Celtics from setting up on offense and make it Jaylen Brown a bust or Jason Tatum a bust, they can beat this team. But, it's going to be interesting because they definitely going to be a problem for Boston. Definitely going to be a problem for Boston the rest of this series. Especially after that game, they didn't have that much rest and they played like that and they went to overtime. Like I said, interior problems is going to be an issue for the Celtics. But I'll be remiss if I didn't get on the Celtics and give them credit for holding game 1 and winning in overtime. Again, another team, all 5 starters in double figures. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a series where you got to pay attention to what the starting 5's doing. You got to pay attention to what the bench is doing because all of it's going to be pivotal, especially now whoever wins goes to the finals. So you got to just definitely keep an eye on all of that. Tatum was on fire, 36 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, doing what he usually do. He only had 2 made threes on the night. He was out throughout the game, though, so that was always a good thing. Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday's veteran poise, toughness, leadership always gets mentioned. I'd be a damn fool if I didn't mention it right now. In the defense he played last night, and I know it was kind of deceptive because you saw the guards, Nembhard and, some of the Naismith, some of the other guys that were going off. I have to tell you, honestly, you got to give Drew Holiday credit. He was frustrating the hell out of those guards. I don't know how many steals he had. I don't think he recorded a steal, but it was so many disruptions that he had where he would just come and break up the play or force the guy to make a bad pass. And then he had an outstanding game, 28 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. You getting that out of Drew Holiday, you should win those games. I mean, that's just simply put. And he was 4 of 8 from 3, so he gave you 4 made threes. Again, outstanding. Outstanding from Drew Holiday. Pritchard was great coming off the bench. I mean, he gave you 8 points, 2 assists. He was 2 of 3 from 3. Gotta love that. But your bench sucked ass. Boston, your bench sucked ass. I mean, for one, they're injured as all hell. You're only 3 deep, which is not good. You're literally, at this point in the playoffs, you got 8 guys. Not great. 13 points combined off the bench. Damn sure not great. It's going to be interesting for Boston because I'm not sure that they really have the answer for the depth that Indiana has right now. And with Porzingis not coming back, so you don't have really any interior presence for another 3 games minimum, 2 games minimum, let's say, because this game is going to be tonight, I believe. Yeah, I mean, that's something interesting. I definitely have to keep an eye on that. I got to give Jaylen Brown some props. He played great, 26, 5 assists, 7 rebounds, 1 of 4 from 3, hit that dagger 3. He was bricking threes all night. Then he hit that dagger 3 late in the game, which kept the Celtics alive. Siakam, get them fucking hands up. I give it to you and try and get the foul. Just put the fucking hands up. You ain't even got bumping. Just put them up. I mean, damn, like, what the hell? He grabbing ass. Like, come on, man. What the fuck was that? Anyway, nonetheless, I want to highlight this, and then I'll get on to the Western Conference game. That interior defense is garbage for the Celtics. And if they're going to have any shot of beating the Indiana Pacers, it has to be better. I don't know how they solve it. Mike Mazzulla is going to have to get real creative because, they didn't really stop Siakam or Miles Turner. There was really no answers for him the whole night. So if they can solve that, they're going to be fine. But if they don't, even if Porzingis comes back, it just might be too late. So definitely that series is definitely interesting after game 1. So the adjustments and the coaching decisions, is going to help decide that series. And last but not least, I want to get into game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Dallas versus Minnesota. This game was exciting the whole way through. I'm glad that in the postseason, both series, it seems like they're going to be dogfights. It's not going to be easy blowouts or it's like, oh, this team's easily fucking got it. No, it's going to be fights. I like this. Like, there's going to be competitive games all the way through. Having said that, Kyrie and Luka were on a fucking attack. They had it going early. You could just see that they were literally just attacking Minnesota. They were testing Minnesota's interior defense, testing that paint presence. And it was a beautiful thing to see. It was beautiful to see that they were doing something different than what Denver was doing, where Denver was trying to stay away from attacking the paint, just primarily using Jokic to do it and shooting. You see Kyrie and Luka were like, nah, we're going to go in there. We're going to go in there. We're going to see if these niggas is about it. And give it to them. They punched them in the mouth. They did exactly what they were supposed to. Kyrie had 30 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. Luka had 33 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. Shockingly, though, and I think this is why the game was a lot closer than what it was, I'm going to be honest with you. If Luka and Kyrie could shoot better from 3, they would have blown Minnesota out. And what is it that I mean exactly when you're like, hey, what the fuck you talking about? Right, I got you. Kyrie was 0 of 3 from 3. So think about what I'm saying to you. Kyrie had 30 points, and he hit no 3-point shots. None. Hit his free throws, of course. Hit all of them, but no threes. Luka was 3 of 10 from 3. So Luka only hit 3 threes the whole night. He hit that step back dagger late in the fourth when he went on a fucking tear. I mean, he was just a monster in that fourth quarter. But, he hit it then. So, his threes were timely. That 3 was timely, I guess. But way too many threes from I like it from Luka. 10 threes, yeesh. 3 from Kyrie. I would be happy if that was the other way around. Nonetheless, you got to give them credit. But if they can hit that three better, Minnesota's in trouble. That being said, I want to get on Ant-Man, a.k.a. Anthony Edwards. It's another game, y'all. It's another game. Now, they had the closeout game 7, where they won, and he struggled shooting. It's another game, game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, and I'm just going to say this early. Him defending Luka, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. He don't really have no answer for Luka, and it's not that he's not trying. Luka's just that offensively skilled and that thorough of a weapon now in his game that there's not going to really be an answer for Anthony Edwards to stop him. So I give Ant-Man credit that he tried, but it's going to take a lot out of him to slow down Luka, and I think seeing that's definitely a weak spot that Jason Kidd's going to be able to attack against Minnesota, because they have no fucking answer for Luka Doncic. And Anthony Edwards, hey, God bless him, Ant-Man did everything in his power. You can't stop Luka. That being said, his shooting has to be better if Minnesota's going to have a chance. I know this game was close, but again, you can say either way. If Kyrie and Luka shoot better threes, a better percentage of threes, the game's a blowout. If Ant-Man shoots better, maybe the Timberwolves win the game. It's just the little things like that make a difference in the postseason that can sway a game. But Ant-Man nonetheless had 19 points, 8 assists, 11 rebounds. He did go 5 of 12 from 3, so he hit some threes last night, which was good, but shooting performance has to be better. And I think it's suffering because he's playing defense against Luka, so it'll be interesting to see how Chris Finch sets up a game plan for that, because he's definitely going to have to help Anthony Edwards out on that one. Jaden McDaniels, I mean, this dude consistently just fucking showing up, man. He's been there for this team all year on defense, and rebounding and heart and intensity. And he's really developing into an offensive threat. 24 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 of 9 from 3. He's been having performances like that throughout the postseason. He keeps performing like that. This team is going to get to the NBA Finals. But I want to highlight again the way Jason Kidd is coaching in this series. He had the Mavs running their offense, and the way he had it ensured that Gobert and Towns couldn't plant in the paint and set up to play that interior defense that Rudy Gobert is accustomed to, and how Cat is not really known for it. He more plays a lot better defense on the perimeter and the mid-range. Rudy Gobert is more the interior enforcer. But I like what Jason Kidd did. It's more or less a scramble approach. Very similar to what we're seeing from Indiana in the series against Boston, where the guys are spread out on defense, and on offense, you're moving at such a frenetic pace that they can't really catch up. And by the time they adjust, there's a shooter. And now somebody's open, somebody's going to hit the shot. I think that's going to be something interesting to see, and see how Jason Kidd consistently keeps attacking that interior defense. Because he's not going to allow Gobert and Cat to cherry pick. We all know, anybody who really follows the Minnesota Timberwolves or follows the NBA, Karl-Anthony Towns, as good and as talented as he is a fucking cherry picker. Rudy Gobert, definitely. Not really known for his offense, but definitely another one who would cherry pick. And I can't blame him. You get an easy basket. It's hard as hell to score in the NBA. You get an easy basket any way you can. Nonetheless, though, the way Jason Kidd has this Mavs offense running, they're not going to be able to do that. They're going to have to run. And it's going to tire them out. And it's good. Like I said, I just think that's going to play into the Mavericks' favor. I picked the Mavericks to win this series anyway, but just coaching, shit like this, where you see in the postseason, it all matters. Again, speaking of coaching on a bad note, Minnesota's deep drop coverage on defense. Fucking abandon that plan. Why are you allowing Luka Doncic to just shoot whatever he wants? Allowing Kyrie to just get in the paint and just hit teardrops and floaters. I mean, I'm going to tell you now, you keep that defensive approach, you'll be down 3-0. Karl-Anthony Towns. I was not impressed by his performance in the first half. He had some moments, played throughout the game periodically. The thing that bothers me with Cat is too big and too talented to be disappearing for periods of the game that he disappears for. I mean, it's just waves of the game where you're like, well, did he score? No. Does he have a rebound? Who the fuck knows? It's terrible, man. I mean, but I'm not going to take this moment to dig in his ass. I'm saying all that to say, he made clutch shots for his team throughout the game, and it was huge for Minnesota, and he was definitely huge for him in that fourth quarter. Although he only ended up with 16 points, 7 rebounds, 2 of 9 from 3. Stop shooting all these fucking threes. You're not Steph. You're not Steph. I mean, hell, man, you're not even Horford. You're not even out. Like, this shit's crazy. Like, I don't know why, but this is why he suffers. This is why his game suffers. This is why his stat lines look so weak. He settles for way too many damn threes. It's infuriating watching him play at times. And I'm gonna wrap it up by saying this. Minnesota has no fucking answer for Luka Doncic. And he had 15 points in the fourth quarter all by himself. If they can't contain or tire him out, the series is over. So game 2 adjustments and, plans. We're going to be very interested to see, what it is. I think ultimately, like I said, I got the Mavericks winning this series. I do think Minnesota's going to respond in game 2. However, I can easily see them losing and being down 2-0 because they don't really have an answer for Luka. And hell, they can't even stop Kyrie. And Kyrie wasn't even hitting threes that night, and he just was getting whatever he wanted. And if that game plan that Jason Kidd's running continues to work, the series is over. But that's going to wrap up my NBA coverage for the Eastern and Western Conference Finals Game 1s of both respective series. I will follow up also with coverage of my reactions from Game 2s in both games. I also give my predictions as far as what adjustments need to be made or if any adjustments need to be made. But I thank you guys nonetheless for always watching and listening. Thank you. Take care. Be blessed.